Hi, I'm Twyla with Clutter to Cash, and this is our second ever What Sold This Week. This week was a little bit better. There were some things that were kind of a little bit more exciting, and I'm ready to share them with you. So let's just dive right in. So let's look at January 6th through 8th. I'm sorry, I don't think I have these divided by the day. So I sold this Miss Me shirt. Miss Me used to be a major bolo, and now it's just kind of ho hum. The thing is, a lot of the thrift stores still have it priced up big time. And I actually took an offer on this, I believe, for $10. So unless you can get it super cheap, Miss Me is not bringing the sales that it used to. I did get this super cheap, so $10 was fine. Next, I have this Kirkland blouse. This was part of an estate. I would not go out seeking this brand. This one, I also believe I took an offer of $10. On eBay, I sold these Avenue pants. These were some that I had bought for myself a while back, and I just never wore them. And I was really happy to see them go someplace else instead of my closet. I had these bamboo riding boots. They've been sitting for a while, and I believe I got an offer on these for $19, and I went ahead and took it because these were given to me. This is one of the cases that I'm really glad that I had Vendu, because someone was asking me questions about the same pair of boots on Poshmark at the same time that someone put the offer in on eBay. So thankfully, with the delisting tool, I didn't end up with a double sale. I love Disney. I usually pick up Disney. I found this Proud Family t-shirt. It did sit for a little while, but I knew somebody would pick it up. So Disney Proud Family. It's not going to bring a lot of money, but I got this very cheap. This was a very pretty soft surrounding skirt. It was a long skirt, pull on 1X. Soft surroundings does pretty well for me. This skirt actually sold within a few days of being listed. Hey, this Chico's skirt. This one has a lesson to it. This skirt also sold almost as quickly as I got it listed. I missed the fact that this skirt has a slit on the side. So that is not in my listing, and the person has requested a return. So that's fine, because that is my mistake, and I'll correct it and I'll relist it, and I'm sure it will sell again. But if you have a skirt with a slit, make sure you get a good picture of it or include that in your description. My mistake, learned a lesson. Over on Poshmark, I sold these linen pants by a brand, Wa. I don't know this brand. Not sure if I'm even saying that right. But they were linen. So, and they were lined. So they were a nice pair of pants. I went ahead and picked them up. And these two also sold almost as quickly as I got them listed. Hey, these are some 7 for All Mankind jeans. I don't pick these up unless I get them super cheap. So I got these super cheap, and they sold pretty quickly. Now, this jacket is definitely a bolo. Keep this brand on your list. It's Burton, AK, and the logo is the AK. These are for very cold weather. This one was like a little quarter zip. It's got the Polar Tech here, and I believe it had like the thumb holes in the lining. So Burton is definitely a pickup. I'm so excited because I get this at a great price, and it sold at a great price pretty quickly. I did have this listed for a while, but I think I listed it back in the summer. So, I mean, not many people were looking for this cold weather gear in the summer. So I list things year round. I don't hold things to wait for the season. I go ahead and list them, and then they're ready to go if somebody's looking for them. Hey, January 9th. Okay, I sold these pants. They are some mech denim. This brand has sold pretty well for me. This one does have a style. Almost all the styles are from different places. Like these in particular, I believe were the Oaxaca style, but I did not put that in the listing. They probably would have sold a whole lot quicker had I included that in the listing. But mech denim does pretty good for me. I would not pay up for it, but I have sold quite a bit of this brand. It was part of the estate sale that I bought. So I'm sure it was very high retail. Okay, this brand I definitely want to talk to you about. This was a Poshmark sale. And these are Figs medical scrubs. Now, Figs are starting to get a little bit particular about people selling them on eBay. So I did not have these listed on eBay. I only had them listed on Poshmark. I don't know if they're going to start hitting them on Poshmark. This is not a brand that I'm picking up anymore. But if you have them, I wouldn't put them on eBay. So that day we only had a couple sales, but they were pretty solid sales. So January 10th, I had this Lombardo cashmere sweater. I think I actually took an offer of $45 on this, which was fine. This came in that estate sale. Lombardo Dallas is a high-end clothing store here in Dallas, but I don't know that it has much of a following outside of the city. So sometimes I pick them up because sometimes they're cashmere or other really nice fabrics. I don't pick this up a lot. This came in the estate sale that I had, so it's been sitting for a little while, but it was a very solid sale. This also came from that estate. It's a She Beast women's cycling top. Super cute colors. These have been sitting in my closet for a while. So I believe I took an offer on this. We'll find out in the sales report. These were some Slink jeans. They're size 18, curvy. This was a recent pickup and they looked in good shape. And I pick up a lot of plus size clothes. And I was actually kind of hoping these would fit, but they didn't work for me. Peter Millar. Peter Millar sells for me, but sometimes it takes a while. This has been sitting for a little while. But I did get an offer of $20 and I took it. Unfortunately, Peter Millar is also another one of the brands that the thrift store prices up. There are lots of different things about this brand. There's different tags, there's different price levels. Most of the time I don't get this cheap enough that I even bother with it. But if I find it cheap, I pick it all up. Even the ones that don't sell quite as well, if I'm getting them for just a couple of dollars, I will pick them up. Dress Barn jeans, these came out of my own closet. I did take an offer on these. They were just something that didn't work for me anymore, and they needed to go to somebody else's closet. Lauren Ralph Lauren men's blazer. I found a lot of blazers at a great price recently, and this is one of them. So I was able to offer it cheap enough that I think the buyer will be happy. I probably could have held out for a little bit more, but they do take up quite a bit of room in my inventory. So this was a solid flip for me because I got it super cheap. On Poshmark, this dress had a ton of interest. It is by Reba. It's really pretty eyelet white. I don't pick up a lot of white because a lot of times there's problems with the white. This had a lot of interest on eBay and Poshmark, and it finally sold on Poshmark. Again, this is something that I picked up very cheap, so I took an offer. My mom loved the brand Reba, and I've got to admit, I really like her. I really like this style of clothes. Most of it doesn't fit me yet, but I do really like the Reba style, but it doesn't have much of a retail value. But every once in a while, I pick it up anyway. This was an extra large, and like I said, it had a lot of interest and it sold very quickly. I picked this up at a yard sale this summer. It was a Nike Racerback tank top, and it sold this week. I do pick up a lot of Nike if I can get it cheap enough, but Nike is one of the brands that I think everybody knows, so usually I don't find a lot of Nike. January 11th. First sale of the day was this Vineyard Vines long sleeve dress shirt. I pick up any Vineyard Vines that I find, although I don't find very much. This sat for a little while, but it did sell. I believe I took an offer for $20 on this one. This was an interesting piece. This came out of the estate sale. I would not pick this up because it's got a very specific audience. This was a women's puffer vest from the Morgan Horse Nationals. So that's a very niche item. It sat for a while, but it did sell this week. I wished it would have fit me. I don't have Morgan horses, but Morgan horses are awesome. So I would have proudly worn this if it had fit. This item is not something I would go out and look for. It's a long sleeve Tommy Hilfiger kids shirt. This was given to me during COVID. I had a couple of friends that needed to get rid of stuff, so they brought it to me, and this is one of those items. So I got it for $0, so it's practically all profit. These sold pretty quickly. These are some Chico's Platinum Denim. I don't get a lot of money for these, but I also didn't pay a lot for them. So I do pick up a lot of Chico's, and this one sold very quickly. This is another one of those She Beast tops, but this one, as you can see, had some bleach stains on it, and I still sold it rather quickly. If I've got something that has stains or a tear or something like that, sometimes I go ahead and put it up there. I put the price very reasonably. I make sure and disclose it in the description, and sometimes those sell very quickly. I feel like if I just donate them, somebody else is going to accidentally pick them up like I did. This was part of the estate, so it wasn't an accidental pickup, but it was there. I may as well go ahead and list it. And if I make $1 on it, that's better than 0. So I do tend to list items that have mistakes if they're decent enough. Like, for example, if I were working out and this were my size, I would totally still wear this shirt. You know, especially around the house, especially if I'm working out, I would still wear this. And January 12th. So the first thing to sell were these soft surroundings pull-on pants. I've been doing very well with soft surroundings. I also got it very cheaply, and I'm pricing it very reasonably. I'm not expecting to make a ton of money, but they've been flying off the shelf. So these were some soft surrounding pull-on pants. They sold within a day or two of listing them. These are some Victoria's Secret pajamas. I found both pieces of the pajamas, so I made sure to list them together. These have been sitting for a little while, but they are kind of a cold weather set, so I was glad to see them find a new home. I also sold these 7 for All Mankind shorts. These have been sitting for quite a while. I had them priced way up in my store before I really knew what I was doing. I ended up taking a offer, but these are part of the estate sale. I didn't pay much for each individual piece, so this worked out. Make some room for something new. This blazer, this is a Dana Bookman blazer. It's really pretty. It's an older style, and I actually sold this, and somebody made all sorts, they returned it saying that it was just in horrible shape, that it had hair all over it, which I don't have anything that has hair to get all over it. So, and it did come back with hair on it. So I cleaned it up, spruced it up, and it sold again for more than I sold it the first time. So if somebody returns something, don't think that it's a problem. Go ahead and relist it because it may be exactly what the next person is looking for. Oh, they also complained because it was polyester. Well, I don't know how much more clear I can make that it's polyester. Okay, these are some Juicy Couture velour style pants. I had a ton of these in that estate that I bought, and I think this is my last pair of the drawstring style pants. I do have a couple more pair of the capris, but the offer came through. It's a whole lot cheaper than I normally would take, but I was kind of ready to be done with this. So I was glad to see them go. They're really nice pants. Juicy Couture, I would still pick up if I got it cheap enough. I would not pay up for it, but Juicy Couture last year was my biggest seller because there was a lot of that in this estate. Unfortunately, the lady that had this estate would buy one size in the top and one size in the bottom. So I had to list everything separately. So it ended up okay, but it would have been nice to be able to list some of the suits together. So let's talk totals. Okay, from January 6th through the 12th, the total revenue was $638.65. The total profit was $339.30. So my average sale price came down just a little bit, but that's okay. I had 30 items sold and I listed 66. So it's pretty interesting. So far it's been saying I sell about half of what I list. So Poshmark and eBay was equal for the profit, and eBay won out a little bit over Poshmark on the revenue. This is so opposite of what was happening last year. I don't know what has changed at Poshmark, but my Poshmark sales are not as solid as they used to be. My eBay average sale price was a little bit higher than Poshmark. I did take a couple very low offers on Poshmark, but that's okay. My top selling brands for this week, 7 for All Mankind. I had several pieces of 7 for All Mankind sale this week. Chico's, She Beast, and Soft Surroundings. She Beast is not something I have a lot of, and I wouldn't suggest that you go out and look for it because those have been sitting forever. But for some reason, I sold 2 of them this week. Okay, and the number of sold items by Marketplace, I had 16 items on eBay and 14 items on Poshmark. Okay, let's talk about the other places that I sell. I also took some items to the buy sale trade store. I took some items to an Urban Cheapskate and to a kids consignment clothes, and I made $38 and some change at Urban Cheapskate and $9 at the kids store. The kids store, a friend had given me some clothes, and I decided just to take them there instead of deal with them because I ran them through a Whatnot show. I made a few dollars on them and I took them there. I got $9 for what I took and they donated the rest. The Urban Cheapskate, I did make about $38. So this is not something that I do a lot, but if I'm going to be nearby, I take some things and see if I can make some quick cash. Okay, over on Whatnot, I did run several sales. I had one really good sale that I made $180 on, and I had a couple other sales that I made a little bit of money. So my total for Whatnot was $247. Now, that's my gross. That does not include the price of the items. So please keep that in mind. And finally, TCG Player. I sold one card for 50 cents this week, but I had 2 returns because their package didn't get to them. So it's a little frustrating, but I haven't listed anything new. That's on my list of things to do. I do have some new Lorcana cards that I'm ready to get listed, but I don't have them up yet. Overall, this was a good week. It was better than the week before. Everybody was probably still in holiday mode, so that may have affected the sales. So it is a little more encouraging this week. There were some BOLOs in that list. I hope you paid attention. And we'll see how next week goes. Be sure to check out my Whatnot shows. I do have some shows scheduled for this week. So stop by and say hi.